The Treasurer also doing his bit on selling the budget, in particular to Middle Australia. It's a nationwide sales pitch that's been in play for a few days now. Let's go live to our political reporter, Simon Love, for more on this. Simon, Jim Chalmers has been speaking today. So what's he been trying to say on whether this budget is a boon for Middle Australia, as it's been described by the opposition as the opposite?
Well, it's interesting to see how the government's playing out its budget sales pitch and the talking points, no doubt. Have a listen to this from Jim Chalmers when he talks about what his budget delivers for Middle Australia. There have been around about 6 or so federal ministers that have already been up or speaking at different events around the country. Jim Chalmers, he's been out with Chris Bowen, his Energy and Climate Change Minister, looking at things in regards to electric vehicles. And this is his pitch this morning to, you guessed it, Middle Australia.
Well, broad support for Middle Australia was absolutely central to the budget. There are a range of initiatives really right across the board which are designed deliberately to support people in Middle Australia. We can provide substantial help for Middle Australia. We can make the budget much more responsible and much more sustainable at the same time as we support Middle Australia.
Middle Australia, there you go, 4 or 5 times there. So no doubt as this budget sales pitch continues across the country, and Jim Chalmers' question about all sorts of different aspects of the budget, the housing spend, the health spend, as you mentioned just then, Tom, he's really having to focus on what this does deliver for the so-called Middle Australia. Most Australians across the country that have a family or a family home, that have a mortgage as well.
So, Simon, the other aspect the opposition is saying is being able to earn more when you're on job seeker. The government is saying, how much will this cost? What's the response been?
Well, the opposition have been called on to be a little bit more specific and get their detail out there about their costings. Jim Chalmers believes that, and as we just heard from Anthony Albanese, the government seems to be dismissing this plan from Peter Dutton and the Liberals as a thought bubble. Of course, the plan for an alternative policy to JobSeeker where people on JobSeeker would be able to do extra work, they'd be able to hang on to that payment. Here was Jim Chalmers on that.
And let's hear from Peter Dutton. When he announced this policy, did he ask how much it costs? And if he hasn't, why not? And if he has, he should come clean today and say how much it costs.
So Jim Chalmers saying, let's hear from Peter Dutton. We'll hear from him shortly in Brisbane, but the opposition adamant, and as we've been reporting, the costings for that policy, $700 million over the forward estimates. Here was Angus Taylor.
Government. This Treasurer is a doctor of spin, not a doctor of economics, and Australians will pay the price for that. It is clear that this budget has gone down like a lead balloon with Australians and with respected economists.
So I think the talking points are in well order on both sides of politics this morning, Tom, as the budget sales pitch continues.